Looking for an easy and cheap meal with me to make this spinach dip pasta. Remember, I'm just a rich ass mama that's broke in the pocket. So let's make this budget friendly meal. First, you're going to start with a half a stick of butter. You're going to let that melt down. Then you're going to get you a tablespoon of garlic and brown that inside the pan. Once you get that brown, I use a pan of heavy whipping cream. Next, I use my seasoning. First season was Cajun slap your mama, don't slap me seasoning. Then I use garlic powder, onion powder. Then I use pepper. Then I use adobo seasoning. And then I mixed all those seasonings up again. For the measurements of your seasoning, I use about 3 tablespoons of the Cajun seasoning and then 1 tablespoon of everything else. But I always recommend to taste as you go with 1 tablespoon at a time. I added some Parmesan cheese and let that melt down all the way. I just kept stirring until it came smooth. Once that smoothed out, I added 1 block of cream cheese and I let that cook down and smooth as well. Next, I used the whole bag of spinach and then I let that cook all the way down as well. Once it's cooked all the way down, you want to go ahead and give it a good stir and taste as you go from here. Now, you can use whatever pasta you want. For this one, I use bow tie pasta. So next, I combine the bow tie pasta and the sauce I just made. Make sure it is in a bacon-friendly dish. Next, I stirred in a half a cup of mozzarella cheese. If you want to add a little bit more, be my guest, you definitely can. Once I was done stirring that up, I put some mozzarella cheese on top, followed by some sharp cheddar cheese as well. And I put that in the oven for 350 for a few minutes. That was baking. I cooked my chicken. Once the cheese was nice and melted, I took it out of the oven and I added the chicken in there and gave it a good stir. This is how it came out, y'all. It was so good. Trust me, do not sleep on this recipe. Definitely got to try this one.
Tonight for dinner I made the viral dirty spaghetti, and of course you know me, the Afi put my Jamaican twist on it. Yo, this was wicked, man, and Afi made this. Full recipe on my website treycooks.com, link in bio. So we're gonna need some beef mince, some jerk marinade, some sausage, some mixed pepper, we're gonna need some cheese, and we're gonna need some spaghetti. So to a pan, we just gotta add a little oil. We just wanna fry off the sausage for about 5 minutes. We're gonna remove it from the pan and we're gonna set that to the side. I've got some mixed pepper slice, I've got some chopped onions, and I've also got a scotch bonnet pepper as well. I'm just gonna season a little piece with some vegetable seasoning. We just wanna make that cook for about 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna shift everything to the side. I'm gonna add my beef mince. We just want to make that cook until the pinkness is gone. Then we're gonna combine everything, let that cook for about a minute. Then I'm gonna shift everything to the side and then I'm gonna add some tomato puree. And I'm just letting it cook for about a minute to get rid of the bitterness. Then we're gonna combine everything, give that a good mix. I'm gonna get some beef stock cubes. I'm gonna add some boiling water. We just wanna pour this in the pot. I'm gonna add some jerk season marinade, some all-purpose seasoning, some jerk seasoning, some slapping mama seasoning, and some onion granules. I'm also gonna add a little bit of sugar as well. I'm gonna add some fresh thyme. I'm gonna add 1 scotch bonnet pepper. We're gonna add back in the sausage them. cover the pot and let that cook for about 10 minutes. Mega add my spaghetti. We're gonna combine that. Mega add some pasta water. Then mega get some cheese. I will just want to make this cook down for about 5 minutes till the cheese melt. Mega add some parsley for garnish, and just like that we have the viral dirty spaghetti Jamaican style. Yo guys, this was wicked, man. Wanna have to try this. Full recipe on my website traycooks.com, link in bio. Give this a try, let me know what I wanna think, man. What this on my nose. I'm out.
She left Berlin, Berlin didn't leave her though. Now she's somewhere near Cologne. Stephanie, Stephanie, queen of Strathcote and mid-journey. Stephanie, Stephanie, somewhere between Berlin and Cologne. Stephanie, Stephanie.
Let's make some Cajun crab Alfredo. This is really good. For this recipe, you're gonna need some heavy cream and some imitation crab and some butter. Add in the heavy cream, and I'm gonna season this with some Cajun seasoning and some garlic powder. And we're gonna let the sauce heat up, and as it heats up, it's gonna thicken. I'm gonna add some of the crab to a baking dish, and I'm gonna use that same Cajun seasoning that we used before to season this, and I'm gonna bake these while the noodles are cooking. And now that our Alfredo sauce is thickened, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some mozzarella cheese and stir it up until the cheese melts. Now I'm gonna add the noodles. If your sauce is too thick, go ahead and add some pasta water. I'm gonna add a little bit of pasta water. The pasta's ready. Now I'm gonna add the crab.
Today for dinner, I'm gonna be making pizza pasta. I'm gonna be using ground beef. I'm also gonna use Italian sausage. We add some diced onion. I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. I'm gonna add black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, Italian seasoning, and some salt. Now I also forgot to say you do not have to add any oil because it does release its own grease. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this and continue on breaking down the meat. Now I'm gonna be adding some bacon bits. We add the pepperoni. I'm gonna use this tomato basil sauce. We mix this. And I'm gonna let this come to a simmer. To some water, I'm gonna add some salt and 1 bay leaf. I'm gonna be using this type of pasta. And once the water starts to boil, we add it in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add the pasta. I'm gonna mix it in. Now I'm gonna add some melting cheese. I'm gonna add some more pepperoni on top. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on and let the cheese melt. It's ready.